Don't forget that Russia has the atomic bomb, too. And why should we
What has that got to do with cutting our lifeline? The trouble is there are too many dinglings running around giving opinions without having studied the problem, and I think you fall into that category.
Oh, don't you think it? Don't you think so, Joe? Because I don't think anyone has a right to jeopardize the people of the United States with an atomic bomb.
You know that right now Red China, has the capacity to deliver an atomic bomb to Okinawa. Do you know that?
Yes, I know that.
You know, I can't stand here all night and debate the war with you.
Right.
I assume we've heard your gripe. I didn't like it from beginning to end.
You think the president doesn't make mistakes?
Did you hear the speech?
No.
Take a walk.
Okay.
Don't glare at me. Just turn the mic and go ahead.
I became a communist 6 months ago. And I became a communist because I believe that it is only through building socialism and struggling for socialism in this country that the difficulties that the proletarian class, the working class in this country face can be resolved through one means, and that is through socialism, through communism.
In other words, your years of study brought you to that conclusion.
My years of study and my experience, my actual experience.
And your vast experience. How old are you?
I'm 22.
22.
I don't really see the humor in this situation.
I haven't begun, Mr. Lasky, to speak to you yet. I'm still speaking with Mr. Simmons.
Very good,
I have
Mr.
your
Pyne.
permission to continue.
Yes, you do.
Mr. Simmons, I take it then you consider yourself at least a scholar of communism.
I consider myself a Marxist-Leninist. I have studied communism. I am studying communism.
You're conversant with the Communist Manifesto.
Of course.
You understand dialectic materialism?
Yes, of course.
Would you explain to people watching what dialectic materialism is?
Dialectical materialism means the process of analysis of society and of nature, of science, through the study of change and development, through the process of things coming into being and going out of being, of ever-growing change and development from quantitative to qualitative change.
Now, don't you think that we have the same thing under capitalism? Don't we have change, evolution, and improvement and that kind of thing?
Well, if you call the oppression of the working class in this country change and improvement, and the ever-increasing oppression of the people around the world through imperialist wars of aggression and armed troops change and improvement, then I would say your conception of change and improvement is a little distorted.
Fine.
It is your conviction. Don't touch me. I don't want to be touched. I'm not afraid of you, Reverend Tate, but I want to know where you got your PhD.
If you have
where you
power,
got your DD.
if you have power through your spirits, if you have power through your spirits, then why are you afraid to pray with me?
I don't say I have power. I never said that I had power at any one time. It is a God's given gift that comes to me.
Why are you afraid to pray with me?
Because I cannot touch something that touches me that would contaminate me. What you say and what you preach contaminates me.
The most likely to have its mouth washed out with soap. My name is Joe Pyne, and the action starts right here in just a moment.
The Joe Pyne Show, a fascinating forum of funny, famous, infamous, far out, and factual confrontations. Interviews with real people, providing your audience with information not available to them through any other source. The Joe Pyne Show has a record. So what you are about to see is not a pilot, but segments of shows that have gotten the highest ARBs and Nielsen's in the nation's #2 market, have sold merchandise, delighted audience, and provoked people into thinking while they are being entertained. So welcome to the Joe Pyne Show.
Well, here we are again for another session, and another session, first of all, in the dock that becomes, in the early part of the program, the beef box. This means that people who have a grabber, something that's on their mind, can get on the dock at this time and make a brief display of whatever their gripe might be. You've been here so many times that I'm beginning to think you are one long living gripe.
Good evening, Joe.
But I can't remember your name, so what is it?
Dave Tutwiler, Joe.
Yes.
Joe, we know right now that more than 100 American boys are dying and fighting in Vietnam every week. This is pretty well known. They're dying to fight communism in this country, and at this time, I'd like to point out one thing that's going on in this country which many American people do not know. right now at this time, Joe, as we know, Yugoslavia, it's been pretty well pointed out, is sending military arms and supplies to North Vietnam that are killing our men in Vietnam. At this time, many other communist countries, although we hear there are so many differences between Chinese communism, Russian communism, Yugoslavian communism, and even Cuban communism, at this time, Joe, we find that Yugoslavia is now selling Yugoslavian tobacco to our country, and every major tobacco company in this nation is buying Yugoslavian tobacco except for one. It's been pointed out by many firms, it's been pointed out that our using more tobacco than all other tobacco companies combined. And at this time, Joe, our men are fighting and dying in Vietnam, being maimed and killed by communist bullets that are being furnished by the Yugoslavs.
It seems to me that you're concentrating on one thing at the risk of losing many more. For example, you're concerned about the fact that American tobacco companies are buying Yugoslavian tobacco because Yugoslavia is one of the Iron Curtain nations.
Well, Joe, in my opinion, I've always been taught when I read the Constitution of the United States in Article 3, Section 3, that aid and comfort to the enemy is treason.
Well, why don't you get angry about the 40% of the ships flying the British flag that are going to Haiphong Harbor?
Believe me, Joe,
why don't you get angry about the fact that we're sending Century Series jets to Tito? I mean, if the government can send jets, fighter jets to Yugoslavia, I guess this company can buy its tobacco. It seems to me that it's awfully difficult to pin down what trading with the enemy really means. I remember an actor who was suspected of buying some paintings at one time that had come through Hong Kong from communist China, and they just about got ready to put him in and throw the key away. And yet these things still go on. Look at Cuba. What better example could you have than the British ships going into Cuba?
This is right, Joe. I'd like to point this out, Joe. How many of our newspapers have pointed out that we're using Yugoslav tobacco by every major tobacco company in this nation except for one? How many of our television and news media have pointed this out? How many of our people know they're smoking communist tobacco? If they don't believe it, that's right. Let's just.
Where do you stand on cigars?
Well, we used to use Cuban cigars, Joe, and I still wonder if we do at this time.
Sure, a lot of guys get them in through Canada.
But let's put it this way. If anybody would care to prove this to themselves, let them write their tobacco company and ask them, are you using communist-grown tobacco? Let the people laugh, Joe. I mean, to them, this is a funny matter because 50 people are here from the Unitarian Church tonight in support of Madeline Murray. Well, naturally,
I have to ask you a question.
Communism, they laugh, Joe, because to them, communism is something great.
I have to ask you a question. What does Madeline Murray and any support she may have to do with buying tobacco from Yugoslavia? I don't quite get the connection there.
I'll tell you the reason, Joe. There are people in our country today that are tearing down our respect for law and order, for religion, for decent principles, and Madeline Murray is one of the people in the forefront doing this.
Except that Madeline Murray hasn't sat down yet, nor has she opened her mouth here tonight, so I think you better wait to hear what she has to say before you...
It's pretty well known. They had an article in Playboy magazine about Madeline Murray.
Madeline was in Playboy?
I mean...
All right, bring in the next driver.
She's the most hated woman in America, and I can say this myself, Joe, that in my opinion, I wouldn't spit on her.
All right, that's your opinion.
Joe, I can talk to you about Vietnam, too.
Well, take your hand off your hip and state your name, please.
I'm Lawrence Termott, and this gentleman has a beef about Vietnam, and I have, too. My beef is that we should take our troops out of Vietnam and bring them home.
And then what should we do? Throw a big block party here for the Chinese Reds, or what do you have in mind?
I'll tell you, Joe. The people do not realize the precarious position that we are in the United States.
And you do, right?
How's this?
And you do. Aren't you the same man that came up here that wanted to limit everybody to $1 million of income?
Not me.
Not you?
No, that was another.
You were championing some quick-sided
I was championing the situation on money and banks and finance, and I'd love to do it again.
I couldn't go through that again, sir.
You couldn't. That
would be a veil of tears for me to go through that again.
This will be a veil of tears for you too, Joe, because if the communist countries, if Russia, Yugoslavia, and let me get them here. East Germany,
time.
China, Bulgaria, all these countries, if they were to band together, there are 24 communist countries in the world today, and if they were to band together and decide that they were going to cut the lifeline of the United States, we're 8,000 miles away from Vietnam, it would be simple to cut the lifeline of the American shipping. And
what would they do with all those Polaris submarines when they cut that lifeline?
Don't forget that Russia has the atomic bomb too, and why should we
What has that got to do with cutting our lifeline? The trouble is there are too many dinglings running around giving opinions without having studied the problem, and I think you fall into that category.
Oh, don't you think it? Don't you think so, Joe? Because I don't think anyone has a right to jeopardize the people of the United States with an atomic bomb.
You know that right now Red China, has the capacity to deliver an atomic bomb to Okinawa. Do you know that?
Yes, I know that.
You know they also have the capacity to deliver one to Tokyo, for example. They do have some bombers that are left over from when they were friends with the Russians.
That means nothing, Joe.
And in 9 or 10 years, they probably will have an ICBM that can get over here.
That means nothing.
Now, what are you trying to do? Get all our troops concentrated back over here so that when their ICBM hits, they'll do one complete job? Is that your goal in life?
The fact is that none of our allies are with us. They're on the sidelines watching our destruction is what they're doing. The people that we called our friends and we've made loans to.
We're our own friends. We can depend on ourselves.
Yes, you bet we are. We're all isolated and alone fighting this war where we have no business.
I don't think we're completely isolated. As a matter of fact, all the CETO nations but 2 are now helping us in Vietnam in proportion to the amount of men they can spare. Do you know that? Are you aware of that?
Very few men. There's very few outside the Americans. There's very few other soldiers in Vietnam.
Well, we have 200 million people. Australia has 11 million totally. How many men should they send?
Well,
you go think. Well, I can't stand here all night and debate the war with you.
Right.
I assume we've heard your gripe. I didn't like it from beginning to end.
I think that we should know why we're over in Vietnam.
Well,
Who sent us over there? What was the cause of us being over in Vietnam?
Look, I'm not going to go into ancient history with you, but the president answered that in New York in his 10-point program. He answered every question that he thought was vital and valid, and I think that he answered it well.
You think the president doesn't make mistakes?
Did you hear the speech?
No.
Take a walk.
Okay.
Seated here now are M.I. Lasky, a member of the National Committee of the Communist Party Marxist-Leninist. With him is Esther Simmons, who is the manager of the Workers' International Bookstore, which is a Communist Party bookstore. Mike Lasky has been a union organizer and not long ago led a strike in Los Angeles in attempting to organize the car wash workers. At the end of 1965, he was a leading element in the founding conference of the reconstituted Communist Party. So we know a little bit more about Mr. Lasky than we do about Mr. Simmons. That being the case, let's begin with Mr. Simmons. Suppose you tell us how and why, if you will, that you became a communist.
I became a communist.
Turn the mic around just a little bit so it's directly in front of you. Just move it towards me a little bit.
About 6 months ago.
Will you turn the mic a little bit around? Just push it around. That's it. Fine. Go ahead. Don't glare at me. Just turn the mic and go ahead.
I became a communist 6 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I became a communist because I believe that it is only through building socialism and struggling for socialism in this country that the difficulties that the proletarian class, the working class in this country face can be resolved through one means, and that is through socialism, through communism.
In other words, your years of study brought you to that conclusion.
My years of study and my experience, my actual experience.
And your vast experience. How old are you?
I'm 22.
22.
I don't really see the humor in this situation.
I haven't begun, Mr. Lasky, to speak to you yet. I'm still speaking with Mr. Simmons.
Very good.
I have your permission to continue.
Yes, you do.
Mr. Simmons, I take it then you consider yourself at least a scholar of communism.
I consider myself a Marxist-Leninist. Mm-hmm. I have studied communism. I am studying communism.
You're conversant with the Communist Manifesto.
Of course.
You understand dialectic materialism?
Yes, of course.
Would you explain to people watching what dialectic materialism is?
Dialectical materialism means the process of analysis of society and of nature, of science, through the study of change and development, through the process of things coming into being and going out of being, of ever-growing change and development to from quantitative to qualitative change.
Now, don't you think that we have the same thing under capitalism? Don't we have change, evolution, and improvement and that kind of thing?
Well, if you call the oppression of the working class in this country change and improvement, and the ever-increasing oppression of the people around the world through imperialist wars of aggression and armed troops change and improvement, then I would say your conception of change and improvement is a little distorted.
Fine. You say that we're being oppressed. Then why is it that that cameraman there probably makes $300 a week, and I happen to know the Communist Party pays you $20 a week? Now, who's oppressed?
The point being...
Yes, what is the point being, as you say?
The question here is the capitalist relations in this society, and not the question of an individual cameraman making 5 times as much money as I might be making.
I bet I couldn't find one person out there under capitalism sitting in this audience tonight who makes as little money as you do under communism.
That is not the point.
I think it's not a bad point, since you said we're all oppressed.
Relations in this country are those of capitalist relations, the economic relations and the social relations, and that there are many working people in this country who are oppressed and they are being exploited by the capitalist class. And there are certain members and certain other persons in the working class who are bribed, who do make more money than other persons.
Well, I'll grant you that a lot of people under our program may picture themselves oppressed.
The United States, this government under this present form is exploiting people around the world and can afford to.
But you've already found the people's paradise. How come you're only getting 20 quid a week?
I would refer you to the declaration of our party if you have questions of this nature that shows very clearly that you don't understand the basic concept of communism. Mr. Lasky, Comrade Lasky,
I'm asking him a question, Mr. Lasky.
Comrade Lasky,
you'll find that we proceed in an orderly fashion.
I'm glad to hear that.
Comrade Lasky can speak for himself, and he can tell you his position in the party.
But he's very anxious that you don't speak for yourself.
I am speaking for myself.
Are you this man's commissar, Mr. Lasky?
Well, Mr. Pyne, you seem to be quite familiar with the subject of commissars. Perhaps you can explain what you're talking about.
Are you the head of his group, his cell, or whatever?
No, I'm not.
Who pays the salary? Who signs the paycheck?
This is a comrade. The paycheck is signed by Mr. Simmons. He signs his own paychecks, since he is the manager of the bookstore and he presides over the operation of the bookstore.
Who presides over the party, the Marxist-Leninist branch of the party?
There are a number of individuals in the leadership. I'm merely a representative of the leadership here tonight to expose and to bring our position forward as clearly as possible in relation to the Communist Party.
To whom does Mr. Simmons report?
Let me clearly
Does he report to you?
Deal with this particular matter. He is assigned to a specific section of the party where he undertakes the particular actions that he does. That's
you have anything
confined
to do with
to propaganda.
His job? Did you hire him?
No, I'm not responsible for that particular section of the party's operation.
How do you account for the fact that a party that's claiming that we're all oppressed as we live in this society?
No, we don't claim that we're all oppressed, and you certainly aren't, sir. And we would never claim that everyone in America is oppressed. There are exploiters. There are those that oppress. The majority of the people of this country are being deprived of the fruits of their labor. They are not receiving the full return for what they produce.
I think that covers Simmons pretty well.
They are participating in the exploitation of other peoples throughout the rest of the world. And they are... This is quite true. You may not agree. The question
may not agree. It's hogwash.
The question of...
Are you talking about the majority of the people?
A pure and simple declaration on your part that a matter is hogwash does not deal with the matter.
Okay. I want you to define.
I wish to deal with the question concisely and clearly.
What percentage of the American people are oppressed? Please define that for me.
The overwhelming majority of those people that must work for their living, those people that do not possess the means of production, that do not own factories, that do not own shops,
That's the majority of the people.
That is quite humorous. The majority of the people do not own the means of production. I would say
they
do not own the factories, they do not own the railroads, they do not own the production.
We're talking about those people sitting out there now in the audience, aren't we?
I would venture to say a majority of the people here probably are what you would characterize as petty bourgeois, There would be a portion of them, I'm sure, that work and that have skilled jobs. But most people that are in your audience tonight probably are highly skilled workers.
And you and
labor.
Mr. Simmons are both unskilled, isn't that so?
Well, let's talk about Karl Marx. Was Karl Marx a worker? Certainly not.
Are you Karl Marx?
Karl Marx wasn't a worker. I'm not posing myself as Karl Marx or even
then why
trying
did
to
you
make the
equate yourself to Karl Marx?
You are trying to oversimplify the question. You're not trying to
you're
deal
calling
with
these
the
people
basic...
petty bourgeoisie because they have skills,
them,
and you don't have any skills, and your only hope is for somebody to elevate your mediocrity.
Do you wish to discuss Karl Marx? Do you wish to discuss...
You brought him up. I wasn't interested in him at all momentarily.
The question is this. Class is a determining factor in a number of matters. In the matter of one's politics and one's persuasion as to what is one's interest.
All right, now...
Karl Marx was a scholar. Will you grant that? Karl Marx was a man of great intellect. Karl Marx made a contribution to science. He was able to describe and to sum up the experience of the working class and of history to that point in order to...
It was an ivory tower type that never actually put any of his ideas into...
That merely reveals your lack of knowledge of the subject.
Isn't it true that it remained for Lenin to come along to implement what Marx thought up?
Participated in the Working Man's International Association and its formation. He was an active participant in the struggles and conflicts of his day. He was expelled and driven from one country to another for his ideas and views.
Did he ever succeed in putting any of his policies into effect personally?
I cannot think of one man in modern history that was more successful in having his ideas accepted and carried forward than Karl Marx.
His ideas, but who was the implementer?
The implementer would be the most best suited individual.
You don't want to say Lenin?
Lenin made a great historic contribution. He put into practice a great deal of the ideas.
So Marx was the thinker, and Lenin was the activist.
Marx put into practice many and most of his theories. Marx was driven from many countries on that basis alone.
But he was
England,
a loser. He was always a loser.
Nonsense about loser. If you are familiar with the history of Europe at the time of Karl Marx, particularly the Paris Commune of 1848, you would be very familiar with the reason why Karl Marx was such a hated man by the bourgeoisie of those countries.
I understand his wife wasn't crazy about it.
But you see, Mr. Pyne, you cannot understand why people would give up possessions. You're conscious of your possessions. You can't understand why people would not want to possess things.
Hey, baby, you're conscious of my possessions.
I'm very conscious of them, and I wish the working class of this country would be more conscious of them.
You know, I didn't wait for some guy to come along and federalize everything and hand me whatever little I have. I worked for it.
You didn't work for it, sir.
Oh, I didn't work for it? What makes you think that talking to you isn't the worst kind of work?
For me to talk with you, sir.
All right, let's get down
to some brass tacks. Let's deal with the question of the struggle.
Let's leave ancient history now, and after this commercial, I want to hear what you propose for this country. Is that fair enough?
That's fine.
We'll be back to the two reds on my right, which is a funny place for them to be, in just a moment. Stand by. This is the time of the program where we swing the cameras around so that we can pick up our dock. And during the first part of the program, the dock becomes a beef box, and the people who step in it are presumably all gripers, people who have something to say about something. And the first person is a young lady whose name is?
Phyllis DeNike. My nickname is Pixie.
Well, I really didn't want to get too intimate. I'm satisfied with your name, but you can, as long as you said it, it's okay. What's your gripe?
I'm here representing 4 girls who picketed Reuben's, and we were picked up by the police.
What is that? What is Reuben?
Reuben's is a very plush delicatessen. Up on the...
A plush delicatessen? What is
on the Sunset Strip.
Huh?
On the Sunset Strip, they have Watusi dancers, and they have... What we were picketing was that...
Didn't you like the salami, or what?
No, the food is very good.
Yeah.
There's an entertainer there called Val Martinez, and we were picketing that Rubens was very unfair to him because he's very similar to Sammy Davis Jr. And we didn't feel that Rubens was giving him enough publicity, that no one knew that he was there with all the rock and roll groups. It was a change to see a very good performer. Does everybody have the feeling
I'm now being had? Huh? By somebody trying to get publicity for a rock and roll singer who works in a delicatessen? Why don't you have him wrapped in a large Swiss cheese and bring him over in person?
If you go and see him, I'm sure you'll like him.
Will you do me a favor?
What I'm very aggravated about is...
Will you do me a favor? Go down to the delicatessen and make a speech about me.
Are you going to be there?
Huh? Will I be there? Yes, I'll be standing behind the kibasi. All right? You know, I really, this is not a legitimate gripe. What you're doing is a publicity stunt for the singer.
We were trying to get Rubens to give him more publicity.
Well,
so as we were picketing, and we were in bikinis, and we were picketing, and the police picked us up, and we were
in bikinis
booked.
Picketing.
Yes.
You didn't tell me that. Now you become more interesting to me. You know, you take your bikini to Rubens, but when you come here, you're in that frumpy suit. I still say I'm being had.
Well, what I'm griping about is that we were harassed, we were booked, and they kept us in jail for 4.5 hours.
What was... They kept you in jail for 4.5 hours?
Yes.
You're of a young and tender age to be in jail, aren't you?
And the charges were outraging decent public.
Outraging decent publicity?
Yeah. And seriously endangering public peace. Now, do I look dangerous?
Endangering public pizza, did you say?
Peace.
Public peace. Well, I don't know whether it was one of those itsy-bitsy bikinis or,
No, just a regular bikini.
Whatever that is.
They said we had traffic blocked up 3 miles on both sides. All we were trying to do was get more people to know that Val Martinez is there. He's just a great performer. No one's coming in to see him. Well, there's people, but not enough. We feel there's not enough.
Well, I got news for you. Why don't you put him outside and you go inside with a bikini?
Who would know that, look at him, if he was standing out there?
Well, what happened finally after 4 hours in jail?
Well, this morning we went to court and they just dismissed us, which I'm very thankful for.
Did you get a lecture from the judge or anything?
No, nothing.
I got to tell you, I never know what people are going to say when they get in here, but the last part of that story perked me right up.
Hi. Haven't I seen you on TV before?
Yeah.
What's your name?
Rodney.
Rodney what?
Rodney Allen Rippy.
What's that in front of you?
A jumbo jack.
A jumbo jack?
From a Jack in the Box.
Did you ever get a bite out of it?
It's too big to eat.
You think you'll be able to get a bite now? Give it a try, Rodney. Tell us how you like it.
I couldn't. I like.
Oh, okay.
It's always a party. I'm Rodney Allen Rippy, and you're watching Reds TV.
Dr. Monroe has come up and changed seats. Actually, he came from the dock, and the Reverend Blackslager is back in the dock. And a while ago, you grabbed the doctor's hand and you said something to me.
He tore it away. He's afraid of me. He can't stand to have me pray for him.
Maybe he's like I am. He doesn't like to be touched.
And that is true. That is true, Joe.
Now, Joe, off stage, I shook your hand, and
I've tried to avoid it, haven't I?
No, you haven't.
I have tried to avoid it. I've told you repeatedly, don't touch me.
Bring my body in there.
All right.
But anyway, he is afraid he's demon-possessed. He just...
All right, let's for a moment go out to the dock. The Reverend Blackslager is attempting now to heal a man who comes into the dock with a broken nose, who has difficulty in breathing, and he is attempting to get him to breathe more easily. The man's name is what?
Jim Beautiful.
Blood of Jesus is in his juice.
How long have you had the ailment?
Blood of Jesus.
Oh, I broke the first time about 17 years ago.
I see.
Blood of Jesus.
Is he doing you any good so far, or is it too early to tell?
There's some things that people don't realize. No cold either. That's the way it sounds all the time.
All the time.
What's that?
Do you ever get a cold?
You must have faith. About every 4 years.
Conviction.
That's God is going to heal. And then what happens to you when you get stopped up?
Then I read my mouth.
Be of the or you could be of the Roman Catholic faith, and you believe not only in Jesus, but the Virgin Mary, you pray, or St. Teresa, the Little Flower, or some other one of the, we would say, agents that will act as a secretary or interceptor of prayer. You must have a conviction of faith. If you don't have it, nothing will happen to you.
Now, Mr. Tate, you're watching.
Energy from the audience.
You're watching what's going on here. What do you think so far?
He has no power with...
You don't think he's going to be...
This man is possessed...
Now, let me ask you this. If he doesn't heal this man's breathing problem, are you going to go out there and take over and show how well you can do it?
Look, I can't do nothing, but in the name of the Lord, Jesus can heal that man, yes. If he will believe in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ, he will be healed. That's true.
You mean the
this
bones?
man here is demon possessed, but he's going to be freed tonight. I'm believing God.
Because you grabbed his hand, the devil's going to come out of him?
Already he's trembling. And I believe that this
he
man
doesn't look
is
as
going
if he's
to
trembling to me, sir. He looks quite calm and
see what happens when he takes my hand.
I cannot touch this man because I tell you, I believe that this man has not the conviction of faith that he pretends that he has.
Why are you afraid
because when you have the conviction of faith within you, you can heal that man, whether it's in the name of Edenord, or in the name of Jesus Christ, or in the name of any other saint that we have. It is your conviction. Don't touch me. I don't want to be touched. I'm not afraid of you, Reverend Tate, but I want to know where you got your PhD.
If you have
where you
power,
got your DD.
if you have power through your spirits, if you have power through your spirits, then why are you afraid to pray with me?
I don't say I have power. I never said that I had power at any one time. It is a God-given gift that comes to me.
Why are you afraid to pray with me?
Because I cannot touch something that touches me that would contaminate me. What you say and what you preach contaminates me.
Mr. Blackschlager, is anything happening with the man's nose?
Well, that's the man. It's his nose.
Sir, is there anything happening?
Speak into the mic and...
Yeah.
Now close your other...
You breathing better?
You breathe better. I want you to have God's consciousness within you. Whether
just a moment. Would you say that again?
I can breathe it better.
And you've been 17 years with this problem.
17 years.
Mr. Tate, how's that grab you?
I got my wife in the audience that can...
It's funny the way you put that grab. Look.
All right, now let this man verify that I...
Hey, listen, the devil...
may I make a suggestion, Joe, here? I appreciate
just a moment, Doctor.
You yourself couldn't heal.
That's right. God did this through me. Right. And now you have been, let's say, reaffirmed that God is still around, and this is my message. This is why I do this. So that people know that God is still around.
There's nothing, God has nothing to do with that. That is the powers of the devil because you did not give God any credit for it.
Step right behind the microphone, please.
Jesus Christ.
No, you, sir. Yes.
The only way,
come right up to the microphone.
The only way you can get to God is through Jesus Christ.
And I asked him, I said, you couldn't do it in your own power, could you? And he says, no, but through God I can.
He said this.
Hey, how come you got green teeth?
You can't go through God except through Jesus Christ. Look, may I say this?
May I say this? It's time for a commercial.
No, for 17 years. And you heard me before.
Well, now, I feel as if I've had a traumatic experience here. I'm not at all sure it's a good one. We have had, Dr. Monroe, of course, is back in the dock again. The Reverend Blackschlager, who has just, as far as a man is concerned, has helped the man breathe for the first time properly in 17 years.
No, that was only deceiving, Joe.
You say that was deception?
Yes.
Well, the man just stated unequivocally that he's never met Mr. Blackschlager.
He didn't give God no credit for it. Not through Jesus Christ. How can he heal?
You know, Mr. Tate, I don't know what to say to you because I'm really not in this league here. I'm not, you're all clergy, and the only thing I know is the man brought his own nose to the show, and he had seen Blackschlager perform on the producer, and he apparently has been helped.
But
Joe, I was visiting a friend of mine, and she received a message from Jesus, who is still around. She received it this afternoon. Jesus says, it is true that anyone asking my assistance can and will receive my help, but not without the approval of God first. All must first turn to God and then ask for assistance from any of the heavenly hosts, the angels, the ministers.
You can't go to God except through Jesus Christ.
Whose personal mission is to ease human suffering.
You can't go to God except through Jesus Christ. We have a
new Messiah coming, and I am but the finger of the Messiah. The Messiah is but the finger of God.
Reverend, I want to point out what you're trying to bring over here. You're trying to say that you've got to go to God to get help because Jesus himself, when he brought Lazarus from the dead, had to go to his Father in heaven to rise him from the dead. And that's the only way you can be saved. Seeth in my Father. I do it in my Father's name in heaven. Whether you call him Jesus or the Messiah.
See, that's the devil. That's...
And I don't care what...